Gotham City, city of love, a city of peace for every one of us. City of peace? My man, have you been there before? Hey there guys, Mikey here, and welcome to the Comic Junkies Corner. So, we're here to talk about Gotham Season 2. So, I don't know why, every time I do that, I say Gotham, and I think of Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins, and I do that. He doesn't have a long beard. He has the mustache, but he doesn't have the long beard. I give him a beard because I think it's funny. But anyway, so what did I think about Season 2? Now, there was a comment on my last Gotham video from somebody, and he's not the first person to say it, does not like Season 2. Now, I went into Season 2 completely blind. I hadn't heard any opinions from anybody about Gotham Season 2. And so I started watching it, and then it wasn't until after I heard people, because after I'd watched Gotham Season 2, I had released the Gotham Season 1 video, and that's when I had, there was feedback and comment, and there were some people at my job who actually watched my videos, and they told me about it. They were just like, oh, I didn't like Gotham Season 2. Surprised me. It really does. I feel like JJ and I might be the only ones that seem to only really like Gotham Season 2. Is it better than the first season? I think about the same. There's some things that annoy me about it. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it was. I thought it was pretty decent. The only thing that kind of annoyed me was particularly there were people that came back to life that I felt should have been wrote out of the show. They served their purpose while they were there, but the fact that they are brought back to life is just kind of really? Now I gotta deal with them again. If you kill them, kill them. If you, there's certain times I understand, okay, why they're brought back to life and stuff, but, if you kill them, kill them. If you don't want to kill them, don't kill them. So, and maybe some characters just got really high ratings. They brought high ratings for the show, so they brought them back. Maybe that, you never know. You never know what is motivating people to make the decisions that they make with TV shows and what direction they're going to take. So you just kind of go with it. You just got to be well, yeah, they're back. So, but I liked a lot about Season 2. There was one part. Actually, I should probably go into some of the characters. Jim Gordon, of course, I liked him in the first season, so I like him in the second. Harvey Bullock. Now, what's interesting is that they start off Harvey's retired, he's quit the force, and Gordon's a beat cop now. And what kind of sucks about that is knowing that Commissioner Loeb is the person behind it. So it's just kind of one of those man, he's still being a butt after he doesn't have to be a butt anymore. But yeah. It just kind of it just kind of sucks, for the characters or anything like that. So Harvey's kind of been forced out, and Jim wants to be a cop. He wants to be a cop, and he wants to better Gotham City. You can see that passion and that drive behind him, but you also see that he has a lot of darkness in him, and that's what this particular season focuses on quite a bit, is the darkness inside of people. You see Bruce go through it, you see Jim go through it, and a lot of people are excuse me, they talk about that. Like, okay, this darkness inside you can consume you, or you can use it to do better. You can use it to your advantage, per se. Because there's a time where these criminals are broken out, and there's a guy running for mayor, and he's a corrupt guy and stuff like that, but he breaks these people out to make himself look good, which is kind of an ingenious type plan if you really think about it. But at the same time, like, you're going to get caught. Somebody is going to find out, and they're going to catch you, and of course it happens to be Jim. And he breaks out Jim's old girlfriend, Barbara. Old fiance, rather. A couple of other people, and the Joker. This version of the Joker, anyway. Who they're making out to be the Joker for the most part. This kid sells the Joker. Like, seriously sells the Joker. This one thing I've always liked about the Joker is that every actor has a different take on the Joker, from Cesar Romero to Mark Hamill to Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, Jared Leto, and this particular kid, I don't know what his real name is, I'm sorry, but all of these people, I will eventually know what his real name is, but like, all of these people have such different takes on the Joker, and it just makes it's so refreshing. Like, there's always the base form, and where they go with it from there is completely, their own. And this kid is downright frightening. This kid is downright, like, sinister as frick. He is just like, man. But you know what? There are times where, like, even, like, no matter what they're doing, there are times that I can always just kind of look and be like, that's the Joker. That is Joker right there. And he does that a lot in this show. He does that a lot throughout the season. You guys already know that there's going to be spoilers here, right? Obviously, you saw the title. You clicked on it. You know there's going to be spoilers here. There is a bold move that is made. They kill him. They killed the Joker. What? What? And I know, like, it was kind of like a symbolism type thing. Like, maybe this is the person that supposedly inspires the Joker. Like, it could be that inspires the Jack. Because his name is Jerome in the show. And I'm like, Jack could be short for Jerome. But, like, I've heard that before. Like, some Jerome, Jack. But, his last name's not Napier. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So, I mean, maybe this guy inspires Jack Napier in some way, because when he dies, you see other people starting to give into that madness that he has given into. And maybe that was the thing. It was supposed to inspire, quote unquote, this madness in people and stuff. So you see, like, people start laughing at the screen and stuff like that, and they start doing these horrible things to other people, and they're laughing about it. So maybe it's kind of like that symbolism type thing, like anybody could be the Joker. Same way that anybody could be Batman. Like what Nolan was doing with the Batman trilogy, anybody could be Batman. It doesn't have to be Bruce Wayne. It could be anyone. It's a symbol. I think that's what they were kind of going with the Joker, but that's a damn bold move. That's what they were trying to go for. Like I said, I don't know, like, Jerome, Jerry, Jack. I've heard the nickname Jack be tied to other, like, names that start with Jerome. I've seen Jack tied to Joseph, seen Jack tied to Jerry. So, like, I don't know what they're trying to go for. I don't think his last name's Napier. I don't remember his last name. I'm sorry. I have a horrible name. I have a horrible memory with names, so I don't really remember. Barbara. Now, I didn't think it would work when Barbara came back. And for me, it didn't really work the first time because let me rephrase that. When she came back the first time, she comes back with the Maniacs. That's who she and Joker and the other two people are a part of, this, quote unquote group of villains that just want to terrorize the city. And, it kind of worked the first time, and I thought she was dead. Like, she was going to die, but she doesn't. Like, she falls from like a few stories or something like that, but the branches kind of break her fall, so she doesn't like completely mess herself up, although she does break most of her bones in her body and stuff, and she's in a coma. She comes out of it, and she's like, man, I really messed up. And she goes back, but the thing was, she'd done some horrible things. She'd done some really horrible stuff, and Jim can't really forgive her for that. Understandable at the time. But in a way, you kind of feel bad for her. You kind of feel bad for her because, like, you can tell, like, she doesn't want to go back to a certain life, but does. And it's kind of sad. But that's just the way it kind of happens. And there's an introduction to another character, another Batman rogue, which is Dr. Stephen Strange, played by none other than Jurassic Park's mad scientist B.D. Wong. I would recognize him anywhere. So, because, like, Jurassic Park is part of my childhood. So, man, I didn't even have to see the cast like credits or anything like that. I saw him, knew automatically, that's B.D. Wong. That is B.D. Wong. He is gloriously over the top, as with most villains in this show are, but it's sometimes it's very funny, and other times it's like, all right. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit too much. I mean, he's even got like the evil laugh and the maniacal laughter, just like, oh, it's so beautiful. And it's sometimes it's funny, and other times it's just like, all right, dude, come on, man. But yeah, it's interesting. He's definitely he's trying not to curse, so he is a. He's a bastard. Let's be right. I'm just gonna be real. He's a bastard, and it's like, man, he does some stuff in this that he tries to play God a lot, and then come to find out he's answering to a higher power and stuff. But I mean, not higher power, but like a hierarchy. There's people that he answers to, that he's doing these experiments for and stuff, but he is enjoying it way too much. And he is behind bringing people back to life. He brings back one of the villains, actually, Firefly. Firefly has a very tragic story. Like, she is an abused sibling, foster sibling for the most part. Her foster brother, I think, and her friends, they beat the crap out of her and forced her to be like, you know, they kind of enslaved her for the most part and forced her to do anything they wanted her to do. And she just snapped one day. She snaps, and it's gruesome. It really is. Like, that's the one thing I can say about season 2. They stepped up like some of the gruesomeness about like what people do to each other in Gotham, and like she just flat out she snaps and burns them. And her thing was just like, she says this thing that's just really eerie. It's just like, I burn them. And he's talking about her brother. I can't remember what his name was, but like, he burned the brightest. And I was like, wow, she has gone off the deep end. She has gone off the deep end. But like, it's just amazing, like that, you know, that battering, you know, what that could do to a person, man. You do something like that, and it's really hard. And it was really hard because that was one of Selena's friends, even though she doesn't consider her a friend, quote unquote, but they're friends, you know. But it was rough seeing that. And then like, she just did some really bad stuff. She just, like I said, went off the deep end, but she dies and gets brought back to life. But the thing was, her suit that she had on melted to her, and now her skin is literally flame proof. She is flame retardant, basically. So like, if you were to take a blowtorch to her and try to burn her, she won't. It'll just kind of like fizzle out after a while. And that's kind of scary that a human being is like that. Now, granted, she was altered quite a bit, but still, that's kind of scary that somebody out there is like that. You get an introduction to Mr. Freeze. The whole... now, here's the thing. I like the way they did it in the show. I felt like it should have been saved for Batman. Like, I feel like this show is eventually going to lead up to a Batman series. It may not, never know. But in that same token, I don't want them to go down the same road that Smallville did. Now, granted, Smallville has much success. Me personally, it ran too long. Other people might. My mom loves Smallville. I do not fault her for it. It has very good episodes, but to me, like, there's a point where it's just like, he needs to be Superman now. You're dragging this out way too long. And in my opinion, they wasted a lot of villains. They wasted a lot of villains to the point where it's just like, who is Superman going to face now? I mean, yeah, there's more, but I'm like, why? Why waste all these villains and stuff? And that's kind of what I felt about Mr. Freeze. Now, granted, his story was great. His story was pretty damn good. But the fact that he was there and already had this tragic backstory, the animated series story, as you probably know. If you don't know the animated series story, is that Victor Freeze is trying to find a cure for his wife. So what he does is eventually puts her in cryogenic stasis. He freezes her for the most part, and he's trying to find a cure. And in this version, they don't have the money. They don't have they don't have. It's in today's world. If you don't have insurance, you're screwed. And if the insurance company doesn't cover whatever procedure or medication, you're screwed. If you can't afford it, it's just tough. You're just gonna have to die. That's the way it is. I mean, I'm not being harsh about that. I'm not degrading insurance companies. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that's the way it is. That is just the way it is. There's nothing you can really do about it. That is up to people with more experience in that particular channel than I have. But that is just right now. That is the way it is, and that is what they go through. That's what they fight through. And he doesn't want his wife to die. So he goes through any channel that he can, and, accidents happen. He becomes Mr. Freeze after a while. Similar to what goes on in the animated series. He's trying to find a cure for his wife, but he's misusing the facilities, his lab and stuff like that. Somebody finds out, and then there's an accident that nearly kills his wife, but also turns him into Mr. Freeze. He becomes a very cold villain. And I don't know. Like I said, I felt like it should have been it's good to see Mr. Freeze, but maybe he should have been saved for Batman. I felt like that would have been, a little bit more. If you're going to go through the animated series route, just save it for Batman. But neither here nor there. But who else? Some people return from the previous season. Excuse me. Wow. Sorry, I just ate. It's coming. It's talking back to me. But the Penguin returns. He is the king of Gotham. He's in power. He's where he wants to be, and he's fine with that until this particular villain. And I'm calling him particular villain because for some reason I can't remember his name. I knew it throughout. I knew it up until I was about to do this video, but I have done 7 videos today, and I just completely forgot. But he runs into this particular villain. This particular villain kidnaps his mom and forces him to do his bidding. And he does, very begrudgingly. But, Penguin's a very unstable individual. So what winds up happening is he does this stuff for him, but he's also trying to force a gambit in order to rescue his mother. And he comes face to face where he has to beg for his mother's life. He's like, look, I don't care what you do to me. Kill me, but let her go. Because she was the good, there's usually that one glimmer of hope with a villain. Some people have it, some people don't, but some villains have a particular glimmer of hope or lightness in them. She was that beacon of light. She was everything that was good about him. And that's why, like, he wanted to preserve her so much and spare her, like, you know, this the life that he was in and everything. He always wanted to make her proud, but wanted to spare her, like, everything, all the bad stuff that he had done. And, like, for her to be involved, it was just tearing him up. It was just tearing him up. He's just like, no, she is too good of a woman to have been gone through this, etc., etc., etc. And then they do the unthinkable and unforgivable, and they kill his mom. And as slimy as the Penguin is, at this point, I don't know what it is about the moms, man, but the moment you do something like that, it's like, even when I watched Civil War, and I found that out, it's like, when I was watching Civil War, spoilers for Civil War if you haven't seen it, but like, Tony finds out that the Winter Soldier killed his mom, and he was under an influence, but still, it's that initial rage that you're going to feel, to where I'm like, I understand. I get it. Beat his ass. Maybe not kill him. Beat his ass though. And that's where, like, I automatically, like, it didn't matter. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just me and the moms thing, man. It's like, maybe because I love my mom. I'm like, don't mess with the moms, man. What do you do? Why do you do that? They did, and I'm just like, whatever happens to you, man. If the Penguin comes after you, whatever happens to you is going to happen to you. And needless to say, the Penguin does get his revenge to a certain degree and everything, because it forces Jim Gordon to make a decision. Like, this person, this villain, great villain, by the way, great villain, he wasn't going to stop. And it forces Jim Gordon to make that decision. And I particularly liked a certain thing where they actually took him back to like, spoilers for season 1, obviously, but like, they took him to the docks where Penguin was supposed to have been shot and killed by Jim Gordon. So it was kind of like that parallel there. They took him back there and they killed him. Jim kills him, actually. Like, he actually, Penguin beats the snot out of him, but he's beating him so badly that he's just like, dude, kill me, please. I can't take this. And Gordon's like, okay, stop. And mercifully, as mercifully as you can get, I guess, kills him, shoots him. So technically, Jim Gordon committed murder for the most part. But yeah, you know. But unfortunately, he's brought back to life via Stephen Strange and his experiments or whatever. And he thinks that he's somebody else, so he winds up having these abilities. And he's not necessarily abilities, but he has very Olympian type strength and speed and agility and stuff. So, like, Bruce sees this, and it was really cool because it was like that realization, like, whoa, like that like, I don't know, like, it was that this is what I'm going to be. This is what I need to be. You saw that realization, those gears turning, like, this is who I need. This gives me an idea or something like that. But Bruce sees him and everything, and there's a whole mess of stuff that happens because he thinks he's some, like, god from, like, that's been resurrected or whatever, and he's not, but he thinks he's some god. And then, like, he's about to kill Gordon and Bruce and stuff like that, because the whole purpose behind his entire plan was to seek redemption for his family and kill Bruce Wayne, even though he had nothing to do with nothing. You know, this is like stuff that went on like years ago, like hundreds of years ago, and they're still holding a grudge. But you know, that whole story with families and stuff like that, but family feuds and whatever. But he comes back and he's about to kill them, and I think he got shot like a bunch of times, and then he was still getting back up because I think he was wearing like some type of armor. And the Penguin just shows up, and he's got his lackey with him, and he's just like, "Yeah, I need to bring the right equipment if you're gonna kill this dude." And they bring a freaking rocket launcher. It's like, boom, just blows the dude up. And it's one of those. It is absolutely. You know what? I don't laugh at death, but that is hilarious. That scene was shot and meant to be funny. It was hilarious that happened, because he just breaks out a rocket launcher and just blows the dude just literally to smithereens. It's just kind of like, what? Where did you guys even come from? It was just funny. But other than that, let's see. Oh, there is a new captain. And this person has a lot of nostalgia for me because like I said, grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother loved to watch the Commish. And it's Michael Chiklis, who played the Commish back in the day, you know? So, like, seeing him, it was just like, you know, so I kind of brought that nostalgia. Do not ask me to remember to tell you anything about the Commish. I don't remember. I remember the opening credits. I remember certain things that happened in the show, but I was too young. I didn't know. I don't remember. I just remember watching that show with her, and then seeing like he was in the Three Stooges biopic, and then he was also in The Shield, which I didn't watch much of The Shield. I didn't get a chance to just because I was working at that time, the time it was aired and stuff, and Netflix wasn't around. I mean, it was, but you know, it wasn't as big as it was now, as it is now. So, but yeah, and just seeing him come back and being that badass, badass cop or whatever, and he's very much by the book. Like, he wants everything done by the book. Every collar has to be righteous. Every kill has to be righteous. There cannot be any deviation and stuff. And you understand. You understand because, like, you feel like if you sacrifice your morals, you sacrifice this code, you're no better than the criminals that you're trying to put away and stuff. So it's a contrast. He's very black and white, the same way that Jim Gordon was in season 1. Very black and white. Everything has to be by the book and done this way. And it took a lot to show him that, man, there's gray area. There's places you're going to have to do. There's things you're going to have to do that you just, I mean, you're in a war and compromises have to be made. That's the best way I can really explain it. That's the best way probably it can be explained in terms of the show, in terms of like real life even. Like if you're at war, I mean, it's a war on crime. You know, cops and criminals are at war. Let's be real. Cops and criminals are at war. And compromises have to be made sometimes on both sides to be able to, like, you know, to be able to put somebody behind bars who has every connection in the world. You may have to do something. Is it right? No, it's not. But yeah, it's like one of those like greater good type things. Is it okay to do something to get him behind? The thing is like, you know, you reap what you sow. So if you do something bad, it's going to come back to bite you. You know, and that's, like I said, on both sides. You do something bad, it's going to come back to bite you. You know, no matter what. Like I said, I mean, one of the main villains got killed. So it is what it is, right? So I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I can't, like I said, this is outside of my qualifications of stuff to talk about. But like I see this as war. I see like cops and criminals are at war. They're going to every person that comes across it is going to realize like this isn't black and white. War is very gray. It has darker shades of gray and it has lighter shades of gray. But it is very gray, and people will see that sacrifices and compromises have to be made in order to move forward and stuff. Like there's times where they have to work with Penguin. Is it legal to work with Penguin? No, but they had to. Like season 1 was a perfect example of that. They had to work with them. Was it legal? Nope, but they had to. They had to, like, for a greater purpose, and that was to stop Maroni and Fish and I keep forgetting his name. I remember the heck out of a Maroni, but I cannot remember Falcone. I keep forgetting Falcone, but they were the big targets. So they had to sacrifice some little targets in order to get to the big targets, and it's just like, what do you do? What do you do? So yeah, I think that was explored a lot. So it was interesting to see that dynamic, that growth of, or if you can call it growth, it's debatable whether you want to call it a growth for Jim Gordon or not, but it's interesting to see that he goes through this metamorphosis. You see how much he's changed from season 1 to season 2, and to see him on the other side of that argument that he was on in season 1. So it was an interesting dynamic. Let's see, Bruce Wayne, Alfred, what can I say? There's Bruce Wayne and Alfred. I mean, if you mess them up, you're just not trying. they are awesome. They just are. But season 2 is definitely more of a Jim Gordon story than it is a Bruce Wayne story. They tried to split it in season 1 and season 2. Most times it worked, sometimes it didn't. Like I said, I think about maybe 20% of the time it didn't work. But in this one, it's definitely heavy Jim Gordon story. There are Bruce Wayne aspects and stuff like that. There are Alfred aspects, but it all usually ties back to Jim Gordon's story. And I think they're focusing on that most of all. So all in all, I like it. I can't apologize for how I can't apologize for how I perceive a show. I can't, because it's my opinion. So I can like it. If you guys don't like it, it's perfectly okay. There's certain things I try to understand why people wouldn't like it, and there's certain things that I'm like, okay, I can see why somebody would not like that, but I think it works. So I'm interested to see the people that didn't like it or did like it, let me know what you thought of the show. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. It's definitely a polarized, from what I've seen, it's definitely polarizing. So, what in your opinion makes it polarizing? Post it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to follow my friend JJ's blog at 4comicjunkies.blogspot.com. Support us on Patreon so we can get a podcast going and bring you guys more content. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.